Listen carefully, because I'm about to tell you something that will change how you see women forever. You've been blind to the signs, deaf to the signals, and ignorant to the truth. Why? Because no one ever told you what to look for. You hear it, but do you understand it? You're so different from other guys. It's not a compliment, it's a challenge. A woman utters these words, and in that moment, she is watching you with a level of scrutiny most men will never comprehend. This is the battlefield where weak men crumble and strong men rise. She's not just making an observation, she's handing you the weight of expectation. What are you going to do with it? The men who fail take it at face value. They smile, they nod, they say, "Oh, really?" Completely missing the deeper meaning. They think she's just being nice. But that's not how attraction works. Women don't test men they don't care about. If she's saying this, she's probing, searching, challenging. And here's the brutal truth. Most men fail the test. She has met 1,000 men before you. 1,000 guys who fumbled, who hesitated, who revealed themselves to be exactly like the rest. Predictable, weak, easily swayed. She is not looking for just another man to validate her, to chase her, to fall apart the moment she applies a little pressure. She wants to see if you can stand tall when she pushes. Different doesn't mean better. It doesn't mean worse. It means uncategorized. She's trying to place you, to fit you into the framework of her understanding. Are you another pretender, another insecure boy looking for approval, or are you something else, something rare, something undeniable? The moment she says these words, the clock starts ticking. Every second after is a chance to prove you're exactly who she feared you were, or exactly what she's been waiting for. Most men will laugh nervously. They will downplay it. They will sabotage themselves by seeking more validation, saying, "Oh yeah, what makes me different?" That's the mistake of a man who is already lost. A man who asks for more validation is a man who reveals he has none. She doesn't want to be your guide. She doesn't want to hold your hand and explain to you why you should believe in yourself. That's your job. When she says, "You're so different from other guys," she wants to see if you own it. If you flinch, if you question it, if you hesitate, you are not different at all. You are just another one of the masses, waiting for permission to be something great. And she doesn't give permission. No one does. But when a man stands firm, when he looks her in the eyes and smirks, without over-explaining, without justifying, without asking for more, she feels it. She feels something she rarely feels in a world of men who crumble at the slightest hint of challenge. She feels attraction. Most men are desperate to be liked. They contort themselves, soften their edges, water themselves down just to fit into whatever mold they think will make a woman happy. And she sees it every single day. But when a man is unapologetically himself, when he does not seek approval, when he does not shrink, when he does not try to be something he's not, he stands apart. He doesn't even need to say he's different. It's already understood. A woman does not fall for a man because he tells her who he is. She falls because he shows her through his actions, his presence, his unwavering certainty in himself. "You're so different from other guys" is not an invitation to boast. It is not an invitation to explain. It is an invitation to hold your ground and let her feel what it means to be in the presence of a man who does not waver. Most men don't get it. They think attraction is about words. They think it's about the perfect pickup line, the right compliment, the clever joke. It's not. Attraction is the unshakable certainty that radiates from a man who doesn't need to prove himself. He exists, and that is enough. She wants to see if your confidence is real, if it is rooted in something deeper than validation, deeper than approval, deeper than a fragile ego that shatters the moment it's questioned. Because a man who truly knows who he is does not break when tested. He does not seek reassurance. He does not explain himself. If you flinch, you fail. If you doubt, you fail. Women don't say this phrase to men they are indifferent to. They don't waste their breath on men who are unremarkable. If she says it, she is watching to see if you will betray yourself in the moment of pressure, watching to see if you will fold like the rest, watching to see if you will crumble under the weight of your own insecurities. And when she sees you hesitate, she knows the truth. You were never different at all. You were just another man hoping to be different. And hope is not power. Hope is not leadership. Hope is not attraction. The man who wins does not seek validation in that moment. He does not grab onto her words like a lifeline. He does not ask for more proof, more compliments, more assurance. He lets the moment breathe. He stands in the silence, unshaken, because he already knows who he is. This is what separates the boys from the men. The moment she senses doubt, the moment she sees you scrambling for the right response, she has her answer. The game is over. But the man who simply smirks, who looks at her with unwavering certainty, who doesn't even need to say a word, he wins. Because confidence isn't loud, it doesn't beg, it doesn't plead, it simply exists, and that is enough. If you do not understand this, you will live your life chasing validation instead of commanding respect. You will look at every woman's words as a puzzle to solve instead of an invitation to rise. You will always wonder why you lose, why the spark fades, why attraction slips through your fingers like sand. But the truth is simple. It was never about being different. It was about knowing you are, and if you have to prove it, you already lost. When a woman says, "Tell me more about that," she is not making casual conversation. She is not just filling the silence. She is making an investment. And in that moment, you have one of two choices. You either prove your value or you reveal your emptiness. Most men don't even recognize what's happening. They brush it off, give a short answer, change the subject. They don't understand that a woman does not ask this unless something about you has captured her interest. And if you let that moment slip away, you are walking away from the very thing most men spend their lives chasing. A woman has no interest in the details of a man who does not intrigue her. She does not ask follow-up questions to a man who is already lost. She does not invest her time in peeling back the layers of a man who has nothing underneath. When she says, "Tell me more about that," she is searching for something deeper, something rare, something worth knowing. And here's the hard truth. Most men fail because they have nothing to say. They have no vision, no passion, no depth. They are empty vessels waiting for someone to fill them. And when a woman probes for something deeper and finds nothing but hesitation, vagueness, and weak responses, she feels it instantly. Attraction dies in hesitation. It withers in uncertainty. It suffocates when a man does not own his own story. If you do not believe in your path, how can she? If you do not speak with conviction, why should she listen? If you do not even seem excited about your own life, why would she want to be part of it? Tell me more about that is not an invitation to list facts. It is not an opening for you to ramble about meaningless details. It is a test of presence, a test of belief, a test of whether you are a man who actually stands for something. Because a man without conviction is a man without gravity. And a man without gravity never pulls anyone into his world. He floats, aimless, lost, without direction. And a woman feels that. She does not want to hear about what you do. She wants to feel the weight of who you are. She does not want rehearsed answers. She wants certainty. She wants to see a man speak about his life in a way that makes her lean in, that makes her want to know more, that makes her feel that this is a man who is going somewhere. Most men make the mistake of answering logically. They think she is asking for more information. They give technical responses. They think it's about the words. But attraction is never about words. It is about energy. It is about the force behind the word. It is about how you make her feel when you speak. A weak man will say, "Oh yeah, I just do that for work," and leave it at that. He thinks he has answered the question. But what she hears is a man who doesn't even care about his own life. She hears a man who lacks purpose. But a strong man, a man who understands attraction at its core, will take that moment and own it. He will speak with conviction. He will make her feel the weight of his words, not by being loud, not by over-explaining, but by making it clear through his tone, his presence, his energy, that this is something that matters. Because the man who wins does not just have a life, he has a mission. He does not just do things, he believes in them. And when a woman senses that belief, she is drawn in. A woman does not want to lead the conversation. She does not want to pull words out of you. She does not want to chase your thoughts, trying to figure out if there is anything worth discovering. She wants a man who carries the conversation effortlessly, a man who is so sure of himself that every word he speaks has weight. And most importantly, she wants to see if you can make her feel something. Because emotions, not logic, drive attraction. She doesn't remember what you say. She remembers how she felt when you said it. When she says, "Tell me more about that," she is looking for your energy. She is looking to see if you are a man with depth. And if your response is flat, if your tone is dull, if your energy is lifeless, she will feel it. And in that moment, you will lose her. A high-value man does not answer questions. He pulls people into his world. He does not just give information. He tells a story. He speaks with such presence that a woman forgets about everything else in the room. Because the ultimate truth is this: a woman is not attracted to what you do, she is attracted to who you are while you do it. And if you cannot convey certainty, direction, passion, and strength in your words, she will feel it immediately. Every weak man makes the same mistake. They think attraction is about impressing her. They try to sound smart. They try to give the right answer. But there is no right answer. There is only certainty. There is only presence. There is only the ability to make her feel something real. And here's where most men fail. They dim themselves down. They are afraid of showing who they really are. They soften their words, they hesitate, they hold back out of fear that she might not approve. And what does she feel? Nothing. A woman cannot be drawn to a man who is not fully expressed. She cannot fall for a man who hides his own fire. She cannot respect a man who shrinks in front of her. Because the moment you hold back, the moment you filter yourself to fit what you think she wants to feel your presence. She wants to be pulled in. She wants to experience something rare because most men bore her. Most men talk in circles, afraid to stand out, afraid to say something real, afraid to own their identity. And a woman can sense a man who is afraid. She can feel when a man is unsure of himself. And the second she senses that, attraction dies. A strong man does not hesitate. He does not shrink. He does not seek approval before speaking. He does not filter himself into something safe, something neutral, something forgettable. He speaks with power because he lives with power. When she says, "Tell me more about that," she is giving you an opportunity to lead. She is asking you to show her what it feels like to be in the presence of a man who owns himself. Most men fumble this moment. The ones who win command it. You're such an idiot. Most men hear this and react like children. They flinch, they get defensive, they try to correct her, they take it personally. But they don't understand. They don't see what's really happening. They don't realize that these 4 words separate the men from the boys. She is not insulting you. She is testing you. She is checking if you can hold your frame, if you can handle the pressure, if you can stand tall when she pushes. And most men fail. A weak man will panic. He will overthink. He will start explaining himself, trying to prove that he is not an idiot, trying to correct her perception, trying to win back her approval. But in that moment, he is already lost. The second you try to defend yourself against a joke, you reveal your weakness. You show her that you are fragile, that your confidence is paper thin, that you are so desperate for her validation that even a playful tease can break you. And she feels that. A woman does not want to be with a man who crumbles under pressure. She does not want a man who needs to be reassured every time he feels challenged. She wants a man who is so sure of himself, so rock solid in his identity, that nothing shakes him. She wants a man who can take a punch and laugh, a man who is so untouchable that her teasing doesn't weaken him. It excites him. She is not calling you an idiot because she thinks you're stupid. She is calling you an idiot because she wants to see how you handle it. If you fold, you prove you were never strong to begin with. If you react emotionally, you reveal your insecurity. But if you smirk, if you laugh, if you tease her back without hesitation, she feels it. She feels attraction. Most men think attraction is about saying the right things. They memorize lines, they follow scripts, they try to be clever. But it's not about words, it's about frame. It's about showing her moment by moment that nothing phases you, that nothing shakes you, that no matter what she says, you remain unmoved. Weak men seek permission. They walk on eggshells. They play it safe because they are terrified of making a mistake. But a strong man challenges her back. A strong man does not shrink in the face of teasing. He thrives in it. He understands that when a woman plays with him, it is an invitation, not an attack. She is giving him the opportunity to show his strength, his wit, his ability to handle the fire without burning. Most men crumble because they fear rejection. They think if they say the wrong thing, she will lose interest. But a real man understands that fear kills attraction faster than failure ever could. A man who is afraid to tease back, afraid to push the limits, afraid to hold his ground, he is already repelling her. Because a woman cannot be drawn to a man who fears her approval. She does not respect a man who needs her to be nice all the time. She does not crave a man who seeks constant reassurance. She wants a man who plays the game fearlessly, who meets her energy, who dances in the fire without blinking. When she calls you an idiot, she is daring you to step up, to show her that you are unshaken, that you will not break. A woman only teases a man she respects. She does not test men she is indifferent to. She does not play with men she has no interest in. She saves her sharpest words for the men who intrigue her, for the men who stand out, for the men who, she hopes, are strong enough to handle her. And most men disappoint her. They take her words personally. They get defensive. They become needy, desperate for reassurance. They ask, "Why would you say that?" They whine, "I'm not an idiot." And in that moment, she feels nothing. The tension vanishes. The spark dies. The game is over. But the man who laughs, the man who looks her dead in the eye, smirks and says, "Took you long enough to figure that out," that man wins. That man understands. That man does not flinch. And in that moment, she feels a rush of something she rarely feels, real attraction. Because confidence is not in words. Confidence is in your ability to stay unshaken. It is in your ability to turn pressure into play. It is in your ability to meet her teasing with even greater wit, with even more certainty, with the fearless energy of a man who is completely in control. Weak men try to be perfect. They try to avoid mistakes, to never say the wrong thing, to always be agreeable. But the man who wins, he does not fear friction. He does not fear challenge. He does not fear the fire. He embraces it. A woman does not want a man she can control. She does not want a man she can push around. She does not want a man who tiptoes around her, terrified of offending her, terrified of making a wrong move. She wants a man who stands firm, a man who teases her back, a man who makes her feel the tension of a real masculine presence. And this is what most men will never understand. A woman's words are never just words. They are tests. They are signals. They are challenges to see if you will stand or if you will fold. Every time she teases you, she is checking if you are a man who can handle her. And if you fail the test, she will never look at you the same way again. Because a woman cannot respect a man she can break. She cannot admire a man who pleads for approval. She cannot desire a man who crumbles the moment she applies pressure. She wants a man who is so solid, so certain, so unshaken that she can push, tease, challenge, and he will still be standing, laughing, playing, thriving in the storm. This is what separates the men who get it from the men who don't. The men who rise from the men who fade into the background. The men who spark something real from the men who are forgotten. She will test you, she will push you, she will tease you, and in that moment you will either prove your strength or reveal your weakness. The choice is yours. We should do that together. Most men hear these words and they get excited, flattered, eager. They think it's an invitation. They think it means she's already chosen them. But they don't understand what's really happening. They don't realize that this is not a guarantee, it's a test. It's a door cracked open, not a promise. And what you do next determines whether you walk through that door like a man or let it slam shut in your face like every other weak guy she's met before. A woman does not say this to just anyone. She does not bring up the idea of doing something together with a man she has no interest in. She does not plant the seed of a future interaction unless she is curious, unless she is wondering if you might be the kind of man who can take the lead, who can make things happen. But most men fail because they wait instead of act. They hesitate, they overthink, they respond with uncertainty, saying, "Oh yeah, maybe," or "that would be cool," or even worse, "Really? You'd want to do that with me?" And in that moment, they kill the attraction. A woman does not want to guide the interaction. She does not want to be the one who drives the dynamic forward. She does not want to be the one making the decisions. She wants a man who sees the opportunity and seizes it. A man who does not ask for permission to be bold. A man who hears, "We should do that together," and steps into that moment with absolute certainty. Because these words are not just words. They are a doorway to escalation. They are a green light flashing in front of you, waiting to see if you will move forward or stall out. And if you fail to act, If you hesitate, if you throw the ball back into her court instead of taking control, she will feel that hesitation. She will feel that uncertainty. She will feel the exact thing she does not want to feel: doubt. A woman cannot fall for a man who hesitates. She cannot be drawn to a man who waits for things to happen instead of making them happen. She cannot respect a man who looks at an open door and asks, "Should I go in?" instead of walking through without a second thought. The moment you hesitate, the moment you wait for her to lead, she loses interest. She may not say it out loud. She may still smile, still be polite, still go along with the conversation. But deep inside, something shifts. She feels the weakness. And once a woman senses weakness, it's over. A weak man will say, "Yeah, we should do that sometime," leaving it open-ended, leaving it vague, leaving it in limbo where it will never actually happen. And she knows that kind of man. She has met him before. The guy who agrees but never follows through. The guy who seems interested but never steps up. The guy who lets the moment slip away because he is too afraid to lead. And she has no time for that man. A strong man hears those words and he makes a decision immediately. He does not leave it in the air. He does not wait for her to push it forward. He locks it in. He sets the frame. He says, "All right, let's do it. Friday, 8 p.m., I'll handle it." And he does not ask. He does not seek approval. He does not wait for validation. He leads with certainty, because a woman does not want to feel like she is dragging you along. She does not want to feel like she is the one carrying the interaction. She wants to feel your presence, your decisiveness, your ability to create a reality she wants to step into. And most men fail because they lack that ability. They lack the courage to take control. They think they need permission to lead. But leadership does not ask for permission. It moves forward with confidence. A woman wants to feel that you can take her somewhere, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, energetically. She wants to feel like she is being pulled into a story, into an experience, into something that is bigger than just a casual interaction. She does not want to plan. She does not want to figure it out for you. She wants to feel swept up in the momentum of a man who knows exactly what he wants and exactly how to make it happen. Most men are passive. They wait. They hesitate. They fear making the wrong move. But what they don't realize is that hesitation itself is the wrong move. A man who waits for certainty before acting will always lose to the man who acts despite uncertainty. A woman does not want a man who is perfect. She wants a man who is decisive. A man who can handle pressure. A man who does not back down when the moment demands action. When she says, "We should do that together," she is not asking you to make a wishy-washy promise about some time. She is not looking for polite agreement. She is looking to see if you get it, if you understand what she is really saying, if you are the type of man who will see the opening and take it. And most men, they miss it. They think she is leading the interaction, that she will handle the details, that she will make it happen. But the second a woman feels like she is the one who has to lead, she loses attraction. She does not want to be in control. She does not want to be the one pushing things forward. She wants to feel your energy, your confidence, your ability to guide the interaction effortlessly. A weak man will overcomplicate it. He will say, "Yeah, that would be cool. What do you think we should do?" He will throw it back on her, forcing her to decide, forcing her to be the leader. And the second he does that, he fails. Because the moment you ask her to plan, the moment you make her do the work, you kill the dynamic. But the man who wins, the man who understands, he does not hesitate. He does not ask. He does not delay. He does not wait for approval before taking the next step. He simply moves forward with complete confidence. He sets the date. He locks it in. He acts like a man who is used to winning because he is. A woman does not respect a man who needs her to validate every step. She does not crave a man who requires reassurance before acting. She does not desire a man who hesitates when the moment calls for action. She wants a man who moves with certainty, with presence, with the kind of leadership that makes her feel like she is stepping into something undeniable. When she says, "We should do that together," she is handing you the opportunity to lead, and you will either rise to it or let it slip away like every other man she has forgotten. I got you. Here's your speech. Powerful, relentless, and designed to hit your audience hard. We should do that together. The weak man hears these words and thinks it's already done. He thinks the job is finished. He thinks she has already decided. But a woman never fully decides. She only opens the door. And what happens next depends entirely on you. This is where most men fail completely. They hear it, they smile, they say, "Yeah, that'd be fun," and then they do nothing. They wait. They let the energy dissolve, let the moment slip, let the tension die. And they think she's still interested. They think the opportunity is still there. But what they don't realize is that the second they hesitated, she felt it. And the second she felt hesitation, she lost interest. A woman does not want to plan. She does not want to lead. She does not want to take charge. She wants to be swept into the momentum of a man who already knows exactly where he is going. She wants a man who hears, "We should do that together," and immediately turns it into something real. No hesitation, no uncertainty, no waiting for permission, just pure, undeniable action. Most men play not to lose. They tread carefully. They think, I don't want to push too hard, so they wait for her to do the work for them. But waiting is losing. Hesitation is losing. Seeking validation is losing. A woman does not reward a man who waits. She rewards the man who moves. A weak man will try to be agreeable. He will say, "Yeah, that'd be cool. Let's do it sometime." But what he doesn't understand is that sometime is never. Sometime is a black hole. Sometime is where attraction goes to die. And she knows it. She knows that sometime means this man is not a leader. He is just another passive guy who lets life happen to him instead of making life happen. A woman craves a man who decides. A man who hears an opening and takes it without hesitation. A man who does not need to be nudged, reassured, or babysat into taking the next step. She wants a man who can create a plan and say, "Done, Friday, 8 p.m., I'll handle it." And he does not ask, he does not wait, he does not throw it back on her. He simply moves forward because he is already in control. And here's what most men never realize. When she says, "We should do that together," she is not just talking about an activity. She is testing your ability to take charge. She is checking if you are the kind of man who creates certainty or the kind of man who waits for certainty to come to him. And if you wait, she already knows you're weak. A woman does not want to lead a man. She does not want to figure it out for you. The second she has to do your job, the second she feels like she has to be the one to push things forward, the attraction dies instantly. It is no longer fun for her. It is no longer exciting. It is now work. And a woman does not want to do the work of making you a man. She wants to feel like she is stepping into a story that is already being written. She wants to feel like she is being pulled into a current so strong she has no choice but to be swept up in it. That is what attraction feels like. That is what makes her crave a man's presence. That is what separates the men she forgets from the men she cannot stop thinking about. Hesitation is the biggest killer of attraction. A woman would rather be with a man who makes a bold move and messes up than a man who sits on his hands waiting for the stars to align. Because action, even imperfect action, is powerful. It is decisive. It is what makes a man stand out. Most men are so afraid of being too much that they become nothing at all. They avoid leading because they are scared of rejection. But what they don't realize is that failing to lead is already rejection. She may not say it, she may not show it, but the moment she senses your passivity, she is done. A man who waits to be chosen is a man who will never be chosen. A man who tiptoes around attraction, hoping she will do the work for him, will always be forgotten. A woman needs to feel a man's presence. She needs to feel the pull of his direction. She needs to feel like she is being drawn into something bigger than just words. Because attraction is not logical. It is not a polite agreement between two people. It is a force. It is a collision of energy, of certainty, of unshakable presence. It is a man stepping forward and a woman feeling the undeniable pull of his movement. It is a dynamic of tension, certainty, and absolute leadership. A weak man waits for the right moment. A strong man creates the moment. A weak man says, "Yeah, let's do it sometime." A strong man says, "This is happening, here's when. I'll take care of it." And that difference, that tiny, seemingly insignificant difference, makes all the difference. A woman does not want to be the one who has to push things forward. She does not want to be the one making the decisions. She does not want to feel like she is the one carrying the weight of the interaction. She wants to be able to let go, to surrender to a man's presence, to trust that he has things under control, to feel that she is being led with confidence and certainty. Most men are too passive to ever create that feeling. They tiptoe, they hesitate, they wait for permission to move. But attraction does not wait. Attraction does not reward hesitation. Attraction rewards certainty. The man who leads, who does not hesitate, who does not ask if he is doing the right thing, is the man who wins. A woman does not want to feel like she is in charge. She does not want to feel like she has to push things forward. She wants a man who moves first, who leads with total conviction, who does not second guess himself or hold back. Because a man who hesitates is a man she cannot trust. Trust is not built on words. It is built on action. It is built on the ability to create certainty in every moment. It is built on being the kind of man who does not let the opportunity slip through his fingers, the kind of man who does not wait for her to decide, but instead makes the decision for both of them. A woman does not want to lead. She does not want to pull you along. She does not want to feel like she has to drag you into action. She wants to feel swept up in your certainty. She wants to feel like you own every step you take. And the man who understands that is the man who never has to chase, never has to convince, never has to worry about losing her interest because she will already be there. A woman does not choose a man she tests to see if he is the kind of man she can't help but choose. Every word, every glance, every subtle invitation is not just an expression of interest, but a challenge. A challenge to see if you understand, if you recognize the moment, if you have the presence, certainty, and strength to step forward without hesitation. Most men fail because they wait, they hesitate, they overthink, they seek permission instead of leading with conviction. They let the moment slip, and with it, the attraction dies. A woman does not want a man who asks to be chosen. She wants a man who moves so decisively, so boldly, so unapologetically forward that choosing him becomes the only option. Attraction is not polite. It is not cautious. It is not a passive exchange of agreeable words. It is raw energy, undeniable force, unshakable certainty. It is the man who does not ask, who does not wait, who does not let doubt infect his movement. It is the man who owns every moment with total authority. A woman does not want to drag you into action. She does not want to pull you forward. She wants to feel your presence so fully, so unmistakably, that she can let go, surrender to the dynamic, and follow you into something bigger than herself. And only a man who understands this will ever create that feeling. The choice is always yours. Step forward with absolute confidence or be forgotten like every other weak man who hesitated.